Hey guys, and welcome to another NFL Basics video. So this is part 2 of the NFL positions explained, okay? And this week we're going to go through the defense. So I've already done a video of the offense. If you need to go and catch that video, go back and watch that. And then hopefully this video will make a little bit more sense as well. If this video helps you, give it a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel, continue to learn about NFL as I go through the basics videos and do some other NFL videos as well. And then next week I'm doing the special teams video, so part 3 of the series, okay? But today is the defense part 2. So I've got my trusty chalkboard with me today, where I'm going to be going through the positions, okay? So this is your defense. It's 11 on 11, obviously. I've drawn on my offense this week because we need that for some of the terminology later on and to understand some things, okay? But at the moment, we're just working above this line, which is called the line of scrimmage, if you don't know that yet. Okay, so to start, we have our defensive line, okay? So it's formed at the moment of 4 players, a defensive end, a defensive tackle, another defensive tackle, and another defensive end, okay? So the 2 defensive tackles in the middle, their primary job is to tackle the quarterback, which is called a sack, okay? So their job is to get through the offensive line blockers and to get to the quarterback, disrupt him, stop him passing the ball, or to tackle him, which is the best case scenario. Their job also is to stop inside runs, okay? So if the running back is coming up through the inside, their job is to stop the running back getting through there, okay? The defensive ends, their job is to go around the outside of the offensive line to get to the quarterback, to disturb the quarterback, and also to cover outside runs. That's your defensive line. It's pretty basic. So behind them, you have your linebackers. So you have an outside linebacker, a middle linebacker, and another outside linebacker. Their job varies, basically, depending on the defensive strategy, okay? So just like an offense has a strategy to get as many yards as possible, the defense has a strategy to stop the offense getting yards. So depending on the strategy, their job is to rush the passer, to cover passing plays. So sometimes they'll pick up a wide receiver or a tight end to stop them gaining yards through the pass. And also their job is to stop the running back getting yards on the floor, okay, as well. The middle linebacker is the equivalent of the quarterback on the defense. So his job is to communicate with his team, to look at the strategy that the offense are playing and to maybe make some alterations as the play is about to happen. Okay, so I'm going to get a bit arts and craftsy as I try and explain a different term formation now, okay? So some teams would play 4-3 as their primary setup on their defense, okay? They may change it to 4-3 as the game goes. They may bring in different formations, which we'll get to later on. But primarily they'll play 4-3 because that's the way their team and the strategy works, okay? Some teams primarily play 3-4. So they'll play 3 defensive linemen and they'll play 4 linebackers, kind of as a standard. And again, they may change that to a 4-3 as the game goes on, or different formations. But they start as a 3-4. So a 3-4, I say 3 because I can't pronounce 3 properly. I say it with an F. So 3-4. You remove your defensive lineman. I'm going to do this left-handed, which is extremely dangerous. And you add in a nose tackle, a defensive end, and defensive end. Not too bad for left-handed, okay? So what we've done is we've got 3 defensive linemen instead of 4, hence the change of formation. Don't need to keep explaining that. And then oh no, that was a bit of a dodgy circle, that one. And you add in another linebacker to have 4 linebackers. This guy's still called a defensive end. This guy's still called a defensive end. This guy now is called a nose tackle. He's not called a defensive tackle as such. So if you're watching a game and the term is, and they start saying nose tackle and things like that, you need to remember that's the guy in the middle of a 3-4 formation called a nose tackle. Nose tackle is because he's nose to nose with the center. So the center, is it even the right way around? Yes. The center is on the offensive line. But yeah, so the nose tackle comes in because he's nose to nose with center to try and get to the quarterback. Okay. This guy is normally extremely large because he's got to do a role of 2 people in a way. Okay. Then what you have here, this guy in the middle, when he was on his own, was called a middle linebacker. These now become inside linebackers. ILB. Oh, left-handed and behind. Very special. These become inside linebackers, okay? If you want to go a little bit deeper, I'll just do it basically, but one would be called a Sam and one would be called a Will, because the Will linebacker covers the weak side. This is the weak side of the offense because the tight end is playing over here. So there's less players, in basic terms, there's less players over here on this part of the formation. And because the tight end's here, this becomes the strong side of the offensive formation. So the Will stands for weak side linebacker and the Sam stands for strong side linebacker, okay? So that's sometimes if you hear that a linebacker's it would be a good Will linebacker or a good Sam linebacker, that's just what that means, okay? Lovely drawings, and hopefully that explains the 3-4 formation and the 4-3 formation. So away from your defensive line and your linebackers, you have something called a secondary, and they consist of the cornerbacks and the safeties. So the cornerback's job is to cover wide receivers and basically to stop the quarterback getting the ball to the wide receivers. So for example here they're in more of like a man coverage, so like a man marking formation, because they're close to the wide receiver on the line of scrimmage. So they will track the wide receiver on his route, wherever that may be, and stop the quarterback getting the ball into the wide receiver's hands. He's going to stop it by either parrying the ball away from the wide receiver or trying to catch that ball himself and getting an interception, so the defense then get the ball back. So this team's offense would come on and take control of the game. So these are your cornerbacks, they're the first part of the secondary. And then you have your strong safety and your free safety. So these are your safeties. The strong safety is a bigger, stronger guy, says it in the name, and his job primarily is to stop the run. So if your running back has got past your defensive line and your linebackers, the strong safety is going to be tracking him for longer, basically to come and make that tackle. He can come up and play up in here as well, so he can rush, come in here and stop the tackle in there if he wants to. The free safety, his job is to roam the furthest part of the field to stop deep passing plays, okay, and to cover receivers. So if a wide receiver is coming across and the cornerback is coming with him and the free safety sees the ball is coming into that wide receiver, the free safety is going to go and help that cornerback cover that wide receiver. And sometimes if a wide receiver is broken free from the cornerback, the free safety can then jump onto that coverage, okay? He is also faster and more agile than the strong safety because he needs to be able to keep up with wide receivers, okay? I say okay a lot. My wife told me last week, I do apologise. So, there is another option for the defense in the strategy, okay? They can go to a nickel formation. So currently we're at a 3-4 formation, okay? If I want to go to nickel formation and bring in a nickelback, which is basically another cornerback, you would remove one of your linebackers and you'd shuffle these around so it's a little bit more even, and you'd bring in another cornerback. So he's your nickelback now, okay? So we've got 5 members of our secondary now, and we've got 3 defensive linemen and 3 linebackers, okay? So we've made our secondary stronger. If the offensive team are losing and they need to throw the ball and gain a lot of yards, you may bring in a nickelback because you want to cover the pass, the deep pass more. You can then do a dime formation where you remove another linebacker. It could be any of these pairs, and it could even be a defensive lineman. So you could take out another linebacker. You can bring in a dime back, DB, and he is going to come on as a 6th member of the secondary. Definitely, if the team are going for a Hail Mary pass, which is basically when the quarterback is bombing one up here, you're going to bring in more cornerbacks and secondary members to help protect against that, okay? So in basic, you have your offensive line, linebackers, you have your secondary, which is all these guys, and they're called defensive backs as well. So sometimes it's called secondary, or you're a defensive back, that is your cornerbacks or your safeties. Thanks so much for watching, guys. Hopefully that helped you learn more about the defensive side of the ball. Sometimes the forgotten side, because maybe it's not quite as glamorous as the offense. But hopefully you learned their positions and the roles that they need to play within the team. If you liked the video and it helped you, give it a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel, because I'm going to be doing more and more NFL basic videos to help people learn about the NFL as it gets more popular in the UK. Again, thank you so much for spending time to watch this video, and I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll catch you next time.